So here it is again. You have the highlight, a little bit of the quarter tone, the half tones coming around to the side. The base tone is traditionally the darkest part, and then the reflected light that shows up on the other side just gives the feeling of the dimension to this object. And so far, along with this grid, the cube is the one that fit the best. Tried to project the elliptical shape on the base of the cylinder to help you with that. And now the sphere is going to be helped just doing a flat circle on the surface there. So just to kind of show this to you, if you can see, on your grid is an isometric grid, but you can also establish a square shape for it based off of that section. So I'll just kind of estimate it out here as far as it goes. So right there is the square. So when you do this flat, it makes sense, and then if you try to project it onto an ellipse, it does the same. So just to go over it, when you cross the diagonal lines of a piece, right now it's going beyond the grid because it's a different layout. That's the center point. And if you can visually take this up vertically, it's going to intersect on the sides. And you might have done this as a kid, fold a piece of paper in quarters and cut a curve on it, and you end up with a circular piece of paper. But that gives you the 4 sections going across. So from the center line, center point to the corner, if you can estimate this into thirds, visually try to space that into thirds, this point is going to be placed in there. So if I just draw this straight, demonstrated with the cylinder, same with the section that's got the elliptical shape here as a circle. And if you can, again, you can see the third of the space if you can visually just connect it all the way around. That's going to give you a measured piece. So whether you're doing something in a freehand stage or if it's just going to be laid out, that's the kind of an octagon shape. And then if you just start placing it around like this, it's going to give you that section. So it's just a way, aside from just sketching it out on your own, that's a little bit more of projecting it across. Okay, and then if you take a look inside of some of the layouts, for example, the highlight, I'm going to have it coming the same as the rest of these objects from the light source, and trying to look at an elliptical shape for the highlight. It's going to just start to progressively get larger for the quarter tone, half tone, base tone. And every time you draw these circular elliptical shapes, you want to try to make sure that even in the corners that gets here, don't make this a corner, but continuously make this as a round element all the way around to that piece. And that builds that up. So once I kind of have that placed, I can even do almost like a longitude and latitude lines of this to try to help me at least get the directions. So these are cross contour lines. The contour line is the outside edge, and the cross contour is almost like a hatch line, and they kind of go with the form. And if I go the other direction, you're creating a crosshatch line, which allows the negative space that's in there to help define the form even more. So see if you can adjust that, take that linear part, and like I said, it's the white of the paper or the color of the paper is going to be the highlight value, and the rest of it is going to be on the opposite side there. And so again, once you get it, you're trying to get a smooth transition, and this is creating all the different values on that part. And the nice thing, again, the texture of the paper in this case allows the light of the paper to even come through the base tone a little bit, just to give it a little more depth. If it was a smooth paper, it would still be fine, just giving you a different variety in the different medium of the paper. So before I go a little further, I'm going to just project the cast shadow. So far the cast shadow on these two is just a horizontal line from each surface coming across, and you want to try to project an elliptical shape beneath this, and it's going to be the darkest as it's closest to where the object touches the surface, and then become pretty transparent, meaning it has a little bit more of the paper shaded through there. And I started off with a linear drawing, meaning the outer edge contour line, and now you're trying to eliminate those lines and just make it more of the atmospheric part of the drawing. So you have the starting off with a linear to the shading. And you're trying to get as smooth of a transition as you can. And again, trying to lose those lines that I projected on there. Dark enough to see them, but then now I'm trying to take them out. And the base tone, you want it to make it as dark as the lead that's in your pencil, so it really gives you a full range of values. Just keep refining that edge, try to make a nice smooth transition to it. Again, take a look at the samples to see how dark they're going and getting that shading in there. So you can see the dark value of the cylinder. I have even heavier values to add into that. And when you press down on the paper, you'll lose some of the texture. And that's when you know you're getting a very solid value in there.